What Nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's anime Nerdigan review is going to be for Attack on Titan Season 2, Episode 3, also known as Episode 28, titled Southwestward Bound. And basically how I do my anime Nerdigan reviews, basically I have the manga right in front of me while I'm watching the anime, because it's supposed to be a manga to anime adaptation, and I'll basically call out anything that's different to the manga, with the exception of word changes. If the context of the sentence means basically the same thing as the dialogue that's in the manga, then I won't, get all pissed off. If I was just focusing on word changes, we would be here for an hour. But anyway, let's get to this review. So this starts off in chapter 38 of the manga, and I gotta say, there was a couple of things skipped. But other than that, this portion of the chapter was perfect. This is what was skipped. Let's see. They must have seen the Titans before it was too late. Sure, they must have left here hours ago. I bet they're already on the other side of Valshina. And the rest of this portion of the chapter was perfect. And then after that, and I'm not too pissed about it, is they jump back to chapter 37 to the 7 hours after the Titans were spotted. And first of all, thank you for actually including the timestamps. They didn't do that last episode. Pissed me the fuck off. You know what? I'm fine with this because the timestamp that's in chapter 38 is 9 hours after the Titans were spotted, so I am definitely fine with jumping back to 37 and chapter 37 and covering the content that was skipped. Thank God we're covering the content that was skipped. I swear to God, I would be pissed if we didn't. Anyway, this was skipped from the dialogue, which was, this was after, since you chose to be soldiers, you need to be prepared. Everything's riding on this early response mission. That was skipped. So something that bothers me a little bit is that the Connie stuff, in general, should have been in this episode, and the Krista and Mir stuff should have been in the previous episode. But I will say this: the Krista and Mir conversation was perfect. It was fucking perfect. I am very happy with this. I'm very happy we had this conversation done perfectly. Now we're jumping to the 9 hours after the Titans spotting Eastern defensive line, and again, I am fucking glad that we are getting timestamps. And basically, if just in case I forgot to mention it, this part is back to where we left off in chapter 38. I gotta say, the action with Rico is freaking amazing. It is beautifully animated, but you did something wrong here, anime. You said, you had Rico say, "Did I get him?" which is, a question. In the manga, she says, "Got it." It was a statement, not a fucking question, you dumbass anime. I hate when anime does this shit. Pisses me off. But I will say, this is just 1,000 times better. I'm gonna say this a lot. So far, at this point of this episode, this anime is so much better than what we've had the past 2 episodes, and I have to ask, where the fuck was this especially last week? Where the fuck was this? Okay, you're not going to show timestamps now? I understand it's still, 9 hours after the Titans were spotted, but you could at least do the same thing, and, or at least just, actually, you could just at least post where they are, where this is going on, and which front it is. That would be nice to have. Okay, this line was skipped from Captain Haynes, and I don't understand why we need to just skip a line from everybody's dialogue all of a fucking sudden, but this is what was cut. Let's see. Every time they've broken through the walls, they've done it after gathering a huge number of Titans. But the rest of the dialogue is right. It's just random that it's in the middle of the dialogue, and that's what happened in the in some of the other dialogue as well, which I just thought was weird. Why would you cut out the middle of the dialogue? I don't understand. This part was skipped from the monologue. I'm going to read the monologue as a whole here, or at least this portion of it. This part was skipped, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit. We need to be moving quicker, but it would be suicidal to go any faster than this. We can barely see past our own feet. You'd have to be insane to gallop a horse off the road in pitch dark. And the rest of this inner monologue is really, really nice. I will say this right now. It's pretty damn nice. So they completely screwed up this line, which was this. They said they followed along the far west of the wall, but this is what the line was. We took a detour and followed alongside the wall starting from the far west, but we didn't find anything strange. Why couldn't you at least mention a detour? I mean, come on, anime. You're doing so fucking well. I gotta say that this episode is doing so much better than episode 2. I will say this right now. This is so much fucking better. Fuck, I think it's better than episode 1. This is the best episode of the season so far. I will say that right when it comes to direct adaptation. I mean, yeah, the scenes aren't in complete order, but I understand why they aren't, because of the Amir Krista stuff that was skipped last episode, which should have been in last episode, but whatever. I mean, the flow of the events kind of got a little messed up, but I mean, it's just definitely better than what we had last episode when there was no fucking timestamps. And this part was skipped as well. We'd just be even less focused than before. That line was skipped. I just don't understand why we're skipping dialogue, like, here and there. It's just, and the thing is it's just, like, in the middle of the fucking dialogue. I don't get it. It's weird. So, yeah. Now you're starting to piss me off. This was completely cut. Geez, this place is close to the wall, but there are signs that someone was living here until recently. Some hooligans must have been using this place as their base. The sign said it's called Utgard Castle. Oh my gosh. Seriously, stop skipping shit. And then, after them finding the castle ruins, they decided not to, finish it up. At least, finish up that scene. But I understand why. Because of what happens at the, near the end of the chapter. So what they did was they go back to chapter 37 and at least take care of the stuff that was cut. That should have been in the last episode, but it wasn't. No. But at least we're getting the content that was skipped. I mean, I could at least forgive that. That's not a problem. I just hope that once they fix all this up and we're back on track to the manga, the exact flow of the events of the manga, then it's going to get better. I'm just glad that they're at least fixing it up and taking care of the stuff that was skipped. This is actually being adapted perfectly, this conversation, with the exception of some skip lines, which I don't understand why you're skipping fucking lines. Of course, as Hanj said this, of course, that's only if something like this is even possible. And then Armin said, that's what, it's Hanj that still says this, I'm sorry. That's what I've been thinking about. That was all cut. But my baby is getting his dues. And then, yeah, for sure. I mean, I just don't get why we're skipping dialogue this much, manga or anime. Why? So this is cut out as well from my baby's dialogue. Not only that, the numbers that it showed, the numbers showed that it would take around 20 years to complete repairs. Yeah, that's kind of skipped. And then Hanj says, I see, with just a small squad, we might be able to get straight to Wal Maria. That was skipped as well. I'm sorry, that line wasn't that Hanj said wasn't skipped. It was just put in the wrong spot. This was skipped as well, which was from Armin. I just don't understand why mid dialect is getting skipped. We can't get there at full speed on horses by torchlight alone, but even at a slower pace with a smaller group, we might make it to Wal Maria by dawn. And then it goes back to Manga Canon. Oh, whoops. Stupid ad. This was skipped from Aaron, and I kind of am annoyed that they're just cutting out different parts of dialogue, but this is what it is. That ability Annie used, there's no reason I can't use it too. If she could do it, and then it goes back into the manga canon. And then a bunch of content is cut. They didn't finish it up. So this is what Hold on a second. Where are you? So, where Levi says, so this is it for the minister and me. I'll leave the rest to you. Erwin has decided all of you will make up an improvised team. Understand, Armin? Just keep racking your brain together with Hanj. Yes, sir. Mikasa, use all your skills to protect Eren. Yes, sir, of course. I don't know why you're so attached to Eren, but control yourself. Don't mess up again. Yes, sir, of course. And then it goes into back to the manga canon. I just don't understand why you would just, like, all of a sudden cut off the fucking conversation. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then this part of Levi's dialogue is really fucked up. I want to read it. Like, this is from the what are you thinking? And then it goes on, Levi goes on to say, it is a little different from the delusions you spread in your church. Those are the people you and your followers want to send to their deaths. I direct your pious gaze to the looks on the faces of those folks who've lost their homes. They may be gripped with fear and insecurity right now, but... And then it goes into, you know, the anime dialogue is actually is correct here. But other than that, I mean, I just don't understand. Like, this anime, this isn't pissing me off as it did, as last week did. Last week really pissed me off. And fuck, the first episode pissed me off. This isn't as bad as the previous 2 episodes. We're getting better. We're getting there, anime. We're getting there. So this dialogue got screwed the fuck up. Okay, hold on a second. I'm just trying to find it in my notes. Well, this got cut. So you'll shove the responsibility onto someone else just to protect your church and yourselves? Yes. And then it goes into the child was caught up in the conflict in the bloodline 3 years ago and is hiding under a false name. She still has no idea. She knows the secret of the wall and possesses the right to choose to speak in public. And then they show a shot of her. Or no, we don't even get to see the shot of her. It just skips onto the next scene. For the most part, that portion of the chapter was adapted pretty well. I mean, the only thing that was different was that Sasha showed up randomly. And I'm just like, okay, why is Sasha here? I don't understand, but whatever. And then after that, we jump back into the scene where we left off in chapter 38. So basically, all the conversation that was in chapter 38 in the castle was skipped. And that's fucking annoying to me. I was saying this was better than the previous episodes. No, you're not getting any better Attack on Titan. Especially with the hold on, where was it? Shit. It started, where are we? I mentioned that Utgard Castle. Here we go. I never knew that there was an old castle in a place like this. Hey, check this out. I even found this right here. What's written on it? Is that alcohol, Gelger? You're not thinking of drinking it, are you? At a time like this? Don't be stupid. Who'd have thought we'd owe the roof over our heads to a thieves' stash? Are you sure we're not the thieves here? Ha! You recruits rest up. The sun has been down for a while now. I doubt that any Titans will still be moving, but we'll take turns keeping watch. We leave 4 hours before sunrise. If it turns out that the wall hasn't been breached, then where could the Titans have come from? Determining that is our job tomorrow. Focus on resting for now. Could it be that things aren't as bad as we initially assumed? How could I put it? Yes, the number of Titans does appear to be small. It'd be hard to say for sure that they've really broken through the wall. The only time we've seen any Titans so far was when we first discovered them. Connie, what happened to your village? It was destroyed. The Titans, they had already trampled through the entire village. Oh, but no one had been eaten. It looks like everyone managed to get away. I'm at least glad for that. Didn't you say that your village was destroyed? Houses and everything were damaged, but there were no victims from the village. If they had been eaten, then there would have been blood or other remains left behind, right? There weren't any, so it must mean that no one was killed. And Amir's in shock. She's like, what the fuck? Only there's one thing that's bothered me since then. It was the Titan that was in my house. It was just lying there for some reason, even though there was no way it could move on its own. And well, the thing kind of resembled my mom. What could it... Connie, are you still going on about that? Are you stupid or something? And then Amir starts laughing and she says, so your mom was a Titan, Connie? If that's the case, then why the hell are you so tiny, Come on, Connie, how does that even make any sense? Well, for us that are caught up in the manga, we know how that would make sense. I always knew you were a moron, but maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're some kind of genius, right? And then, she keeps cracking the fuck up. Oh, just shut up. This is cotton stupid. So your theory is right. So if your theory is right, then your dad must be a Titan too, right? Because if not, then, how would they be able to do it? Yay, way to suck out the comedy out of Attack on Titan anime. Just shut up and go to bed, you bitch. And then we see this. Then we see Rainer, catching Amir. What are you doing, Amir? Creeping into a girl's room at night, Rainer? That's surprising. You didn't seem like the kind of guy who was interested in women. Sure, and you don't look to me like the kind of girl who's interested in guys. I'm just digging around for something to fill my stomach. This will probably end up being our last supper. I wanted to ask you, when Connie was talking about his village, you changed the subject on purpose, didn't you? If you can, I want you to keep acting that way so that he doesn't get too worried about his family. What are you talking about? Oh, this'll do. Herring isn't my favorite, but any more in there? Let me take a look. Here. This is canned food? What are these letters? I can't read them. This says herring on it. I'm surprised, Amir. You can read these things? And then it goes back into the manga canon. So the dialogue that was in the wagon, the rest of the dialogue, what Levi said to Erwin, or said about Erwin to Armin and them that I mentioned earlier that was skipped. No, they just put it at the end. Why the fuck would you do that? Just, ugh. I really hate how this anime is adapting this. For the most part, this episode was really, really good, but the adaptation was really decent, but then near the end, it just really just sucked. When it comes to skipping shit and all that, I really don't like how it's ending. I really don't. After the conversation that was supposed to have happened earlier in this episode, we get back to where we're supposed to be, which is at the castle. On the bright side, minus the little thing with Levi, what Levi said to Aaron, this episode ended perfectly. Minus that was the only thing. But I hope that this stops. This has got to stop, because this is fucking ridiculous. I hope they just stop jumping around chapters and just go in actual order. That would be nice, like other animes are doing. So I hope this happens, but never know. I just don't know. I'm not as angry this week as I was the past couple of weeks, but I'm still kind of pissed. Let me know what you nerdigans thought of this episode, especially the manga nerdigans. Are you getting annoyed at Attack on Titan, or do you see it improving? I think there's hope for this anime. I understand they're just going back and, covering the stuff that they skipped in the previous episodes, but I'm hoping now that we basically got everything back in order, with the exception of them just cutting out this whole fucking conversation that was going on in the castle, especially with Amir and Reiner. I think that we're going to go back to being in order. I hope so. I'm praying for next week. I am. Anyway, let me know what you nerdigans thought about this chapter in the comment section below. And or not this chapter, I should say, this episode. God, I'm so used to doing manga reactions today. So, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to the Nerdigans Inc. expansion, there's a few ways you can do that. You can donate to the Nerdigans Inc. PayPal, Patreon, or purchase something off the Nerdigans Inc. Amazon wishlist. All those links are in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on the Twits, aka Twitter. Follow my Twitch channel and friend me on PlayStation Network. All that's in the description box below as well. And until next time, Nerdigans, I will be seeing you later. Bye!